I saw. Good morning, friends. Today is the Tuesday, March 24th meeting of the Town of Hempstead IDA meeting. Before we commence the meeting, would you please stand for the pledge? And before we pledge, please keep in mind our servicemen and women overseas defending our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I want to confirm the presence of a quorum, and it looks like we do have a full quorum. I also want to see if there's any public comment with respect exclusively to the agenda items. Sir, Mr. Oppenheimer, please approach. Even though I said your name, could you please identify yourself?
Good morning all. Dan Oppenheimer, Village of Hempstead. I have some questions and comments on the Main Street apartment project. I know both the developer and the attorney are here, so if either one would, or both would care to answer, it would be great. And I've had some conversations with Mr. Walker, so I know he has referred to these. So projected occupancy date and the type of retail space you desire in the building. You can do one at a time, or I can give you the whole list, whatever you like.
Yeah. May I make a suggestion, Mr. Executive? How about we have, if it's okay with you, Mr. Oppenheimer, that the folks that are here to present make the presentation, and then you can address them.
I'd be fine with that.
Does that work for you?
Yes.
Otherwise, we kind of go in reverse order. Okay, village business, Village of Freeport, we see no business. Can that be confirmed? Thank you. Village of Hempstead, consideration of an authorizing resolution for Main Street Hempstead Apartments LLC, 257 Main Street, Hempstead, New York.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board,
Morning.
staff, council. I'm John Gordon from Porcelli, Deegan, Tirana, here on behalf of the applicant, Main Street Apartments LLC. And I have Rashid Walker here with me as well from the applicant. This is an application for an updated pilot and other financial assistance to reflect changes to a project which has not yet been built. There's a pilot in effect already which closed in December of 2021. Originally, it was a 173 unit development. Gone back with the village over the past few years to change the parameters of the project. It's now going to be 246 units, approximately 331,000 square feet, 6,000 ground floor square feet of retail space, and a parking garage. What we're requesting is a pilot more or less in line with what was approved originally, but just to start so that we get around the same length of pilot from completion. So it's a 25-year pilot. It's projected to have 5 FTE jobs and 100 construction jobs. Requesting as well sales tax exemption and mortgage recording tax exemption. This is in the village's downtown overlay zone. So this is basically what the village is looking for this area. So I'd like to open up for any questions.
Great, so I have a couple questions. What's the total value estimate of this project, dollars? Total investment. Mr. Walker, feel free to jump in. And could you re-explain for me so it's clear? There's 4 years left on the pilot. You want to do another 25, or just could you re-explain that for us?
We're 4 years in, but the project hasn't been built yet. So essentially, it's vacant land where we really aren't getting any benefit from the pilot. So what we're looking for is to restart as of the new construction timeline.
So when it starts So it's that plus 25 years?
Essentially, yes.
Board, any questions at all for our applicant?
Yeah,
You're on.
I just have a quick question, if I heard it correctly. So initially, it went from 173 units to 246 units? Is that correct? So what was the motivation behind the increase in the number of units?
With the interest rate environment that we were in and the cost of construction, the project at that scale was not financeable. So we changed the design of the project to increase the unit count, and it changed the overall design, and it's now financeable.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. And one more time with the jobs, 5 FTEs and,
5 FTEs and 100 construction jobs.
okay. Before we offer any of the questions, our
I have a
friends,
question.
please, sorry, Jack.
You said 4 years in, so you're starting on year 5 of this pilot that's in front of us here, or it's starting over, so it's actually essentially 29 years, because 4 years in.
It was a previous company that had received the pilot.
Okay,
So this is now technically, correct me if I'm wrong, a new institution that is taking over the pilot and starting anew.
okay, thank you.
I'd like to ask ask my friends from the Village of Hempstead trustees to please stand and approach with your comment or question. Thank you.
Tanya Carter, 295 Lawson Street in Hempstead, trustee in the Village of Hempstead. I would like to make you aware, as everyone knows, there is a housing shortage everywhere. There's a huge housing shortage in the Village of Hempstead. I took my one day yesterday to try and find housing for families that are homeless with children. Will there be any priorities to some of the residents in the Village of Hempstead? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter.
10% of the units will be reserved as attainable housing per the code in the Village of Hempstead, and Village of Hempstead residents will have preference on those.
All of the units, or just 10%?
10% of the units are,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Please approach and identify yourself. Thank you.
William Miller, 46 Surrey Lane, Hempstead. I have a couple of questions. I mean, the 25-year pilot is the longest that, when I look back at some of the other pilot requests, 20 was the top number, so 25 seems very long. And I understand that it's coming from another pilot that's going to be added on to it. And I'm still unclear as to whether it's a total of 25 or 25 plus the 5 years that have already elapsed on the other one, so a total of 30 years. So that's a question in my mind. I also, there's 246 units. How many parking spaces are there for that building? Are we going, for the residents and for their guests? And then with retail locations, is any parking going to be available for retail customers? Because that space, where it's on, there's not a lot of street parking from what I've seen. It also states 5 full-time equivalents, and the question there is, what are those 5 positions? Are they super maintenance workers and so forth? Because in the village, I attend a lot of the trustee meetings, and when residents get up to speak, or renters, one of the issues that come up is the lack of a super in the building to address immediate concerns. So I want to make sure that those 5 full-time equivalents are directed towards maintaining the building to make sure that it's the right status for residents. The other thing is, the mortgage went up by $11 million from 68 to 79, but the tax exemption went down from, I think, 54 million to 38 million, so a $16 million reduction. So I have a question in my mind, what was that reduction for, and does it impact, how is it impacting the look, the feel, the flavor of that building? Because that's a significant reduction. Those are my only questions.
Mr. Miller, thanks very much for your questions. Can we get the applicant and counsel to explain?
Yeah, so there are 275 parking spaces. All the parking spaces will be contained within the property boundaries. There will also be parking for retail customers as well, within the boundaries of the parking, of the property, excuse me.
Of those 331,000 square feet, I think I took a note that said that was the total.
That's the overall gross square footage of the building,
And how much of that is going to be retail?
6,100, ground floor. on the
Okay.
ground floor.
Okay. All right. Your question is sufficiently answered, Mr. Miller? Please, Mr. Walker.
The other question was about sales tax decreasing. I don't think that. Well, the sales tax exemption would, I don't think it would be decreasing. I think what you're referring to is the overall cost of the project went up. The overall cost of the project went up to $123 million, so the sales tax exemption is a function of percentage of the project cost, correct, Mr. Lodato? And it's just a product of the cost of the project times the tax rate in Nassau County. I don't think that makes sense.
The sales tax requested, the sales tax exemption requested is 3.3 million. Okay, so you're saying on the hard costs. I don't have the exact calculations that went into the original numbers, but this is based on updated construction budget and breakdown between labor and materials that we're expecting. So as you get closer.
Yeah, that has no impact on the overall quality of the building. In fact, the building is, just so you're clear, it was a previous applicant. I'm the new applicant. You had another question about the time of the pilot. It's a 25-year pilot in total. The quality of the building, in our opinion, has improved, in fact, so there's no reduction in the overall quality of the building whatsoever. When we design the building, we don't take sales tax exemptions or anything into account. We just design a building according to our standards in the village's code. Yes, that will be for the property maintenance management company. Yes, so those will be workers there. Yes, 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 correct.
And just a word to the timing. As you said, this is a 25-year pilot that's going to start in the next upcoming tax year. Essentially, this project has gone nowhere so far. It hasn't been built. So it's as if the first round of the project has been put aside and a new one has come in. It's just the structure that it's taking is an amendment to the existing pilot. So there's no money coming in from it in terms of rent because it hasn't been built. It's just kind of waiting. Correct.
Okay, Mr. Oppenheimer, were your questions answered, or would you like to still come up? Excellent. Please approach.
Thank you once again. You can answer either as I go along or at the end, whichever you prefer. So projected occupancy date and the type of retail space that you desire in the building.
We hope to start construction in July of this year. It'll take us about 30 months to construct the project, and so we'll occupy 30 months from July.
And the type of business, retail that you're looking
It's early yet, but probably coffee shops, things like that. But it's very early in the process yet. We haven't begun marketing it yet.
Thank you. You mentioned that there will be a live-in super will there be an on-site management office in addition to the super? Because the super may be off doing, everything he needs to do, and no one would be in the office. So will that be staffed? I'll go through a couple of quick things. Provisions for laundry, either in each unit, each floor, or in the building as a whole. Do you intend to sell the building upon completion or retain ownership long-term? Will all traffic enter and exit on Main Street or at multiple points? And finally, you have addressed the change in the pilot amount from currently at 260 and going back to 144 for 3 years. I understand the project has not started, but my impression would be this is not the fault of the IDA board. You're asking them to make up for whatever reason you were unable to start the project. I would ask the board to consider, in a way, he's asking you to pay for his delay. So whether that's a reasonable request is up to the board to decide, but I wanted to raise that question.
Thank you, Mr. Oppenheimer.
Mr. Oppenheimer, if you wouldn't mind, go through each the questions for Vic. Yes, Greystar is the property management company that we're hiring. Greystar is the largest property management company in the country, so they'll be working. Yes, each unit will have washer and dryer. I'll retain ownership. And just to be clear, I recently purchased the property, so it was not my delay before, so I am now the property's owner. I bought the property from the previous owner. We retained the name, so the applicant's name is still the same, but I am now the owner of the property. Correct. There are 2 egress points from the property, on Main Street and on Old South Front. Correct.
Excellent. Any other public comment before I defer? Mr. Parola?
I don't believe that this falls under the prevailing wage requirements. Because the project costs are significant, so the savings do not account for more than 1/3 of the project costs.
So Racanelli Construction is the general contractor for the project. Racanelli Construction is an open shop, so they will reach out to, anyone can bid on the project, union, non-union. But this project in the village of Hempstead, your question was, are we using union or the apprentice program? So we have a program within the village of Hempstead that firstly we go out and try to work with contractors or subcontractors within the village of Hempstead. So there is a community benefits program that we'd be adhering to for the project.
Could you tell me what that program is called?
It's called the we sign up what's called a community benefits agreement.
Right, but I understand that part, but is there a particular program or a director that runs that program?
It's the Community Development Agency of the Village of Hempstead.
Village of okay, thank you.
Before you gentlemen step away, I want to open up the floor for any comment or concern collectively from the Village of Hempstead trustees that are here. Nothing further?
pilot, or the amended pilot, will start year one with the upcoming 26, 27 tax year, and it will run for 25 years from that date. So, you know, also to address a point Mr. Oppenheimer raised before, this year is actually the payment is $260,000. That's phasing in the as complete original project value on the pilot. So essentially, we're paying the project is being charged as if there's something already there that's supposed to be the ramp up, and it's vacant land that's actually there and will be there for the next 2 or 3 years construction period. So really, we're just asking for the pilot to be recast so that starting today, which is when construction, or starting soon, which is when construction's going to start, we're getting the same phase in that a project would typically get that starts at the right time. Simultaneously with closing on the amended pilot, we're expecting that there's going to be a new construction loan put in place that after completion will be replaced by permanent financing that will probably run for 20 to 30 years.
So a couple comments in closing before we either go to a vote or further comment. So first of all, New York State continues its race to the bottom of being affordable. We're either 49 or 50th of our great 50 states, right? So we all know the challenges that our state and our region kind of face. So Mr. Walker, I applaud you for your efforts in this regard to help, grow housing in a place that desperately needs it. I'm heartened by the 10% for the affordable piece. I say this to you and to everybody else that has a vote or a say, somewhat concerned about the 25-year pilot. We've not done a lot of those beyond 20 years. I open it up for staff or board comment about that before we move to and your recommendation from the staff as well.
Our uniform tax exemption policy always does allow for deviations depending on the project. We have done projects in the past that have been 25, and a few have actually went to 30. And then recently the UTEP was amended, and what we've tried aiming for is normally 15 years on internal modifications and around 20 years on new construction. But as Mr. Walker had stated, they made their point to us that if this did not receive a 25-year pilot, this would not be financeable, so then the project would just stay vacant land.
Okay.
And also, I wanted to point out, this project is really, as part of the village's downtown revitalization, this is one of the first market projects, so it's a little bit of a higher risk and a struggle financially to make everything work. There have been other projects in the downtown that were recently approved, two I can think of with this agency's assistance that were made possible, but those were 100% affordable, so it's a totally different type of structure that goes into that.
Any other comment from board or staff? Ms. Williams?
Good morning, Joylette Williams, 99 Mason Street, Hempstead, New York. I just want to put in a very strong request for an actual internship program. As you know, CDA is not an internship program, and I would love for particularly the residents of the village of Hempstead to have an opportunity to intern in this project. And so I'm requesting a formal internship program, and I would be happy to help you research what avenues and opportunities for our young people for that reason.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Williams. All right. So if there's no other further comment or questions, I'd like to make a motion for the consideration of an authorizing resolution for Main Street Hempstead Apartments LLC, 257 Main Street in Hempstead. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Jerry made the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Excellent. Those in favor, including our friends from the village of Hempstead? Aye. Aye. Any opposition? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Again, congratulations, and thanks for making the investment in a very, very difficult period. helping us get New York out of that 49th or 50th space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, while we're moving to the next project, I just want to note for the record the passing of Henry Holly. He was a leader of 100 Black Men, involved in many businesses in the Hempstead and surrounding areas. He was a class act, and he will be missed.
Thank you. I was unaware of that, and I apologize for not knowing that ahead of time. Thank you very much for that, Fred. New business. Presentation and inducement resolution for 2150 Grand LLC, 2150 Grand Avenue in Baldwin. This is an oldie but a goodie, if I'm not mistaken there, team? Thank you. Thank you, Village of Hempstead trustees and Mr. Oppenheimer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, Daniel Deegan, Forcelli Deegan Tirana for the applicant. I also have with me Joe Anzalone and Nick Tangridi, who are the principal and part of the development team here. This has been in the works for a while. This is in the hamlet of Baldwin. It's part of the Baldwin revitalization efforts that have been supported by the local community and supported by the town of Hempstead. Since we submitted this application about a year ago, we've been going through the town of Hempstead land use approval process and the site plan approval process, and I'm happy to say that we've now received that site plan approval from the town, and we're in a position where we can hopefully move forward with this project now with the IDA's assistance. The project itself is 58 units right near the train station of Baldwin. Currently on the property, there's a couple of kind of less than ideal buildings there, but one of the important uses that's there now is the Long Island Bagel Cafe commissary, which is where they make all the bagels for their chain of bagel stores, which is about 10 bagel stores across Long Island and even down in Florida. And I don't know if anyone here has been to that store, but it's probably the best bagels on Long Island, I would say. But anyway, so one of the challenges is going to be, finding they're actively working on moving that operation to another place, and then we would be demolishing the buildings and building these 58 units. There will be a retail component on the first floor, consistent with what the town's looking for in that area. We're probably talking about a $21 million investment. This is be a major transformation for the property and hopefully a big enhancement that's supported by the community and the town in that area. It's going to create construction jobs during the initial construction, and here this is our first time before the board officially with the application. I know we still have to have a public hearing and come back if this board's willing to support us, but without the IDA's assistance, this project does not pencil out. It doesn't work financially. So what we're asking from this board ultimately is to allow us to phase in the taxes over a period of time. We're looking for a 20-year pilot that will allow the taxes to build up over a period of time. The IDA staff has done, and the consultants have done reports that show what that might look like, and it ultimately would be a very big positive impact to the affected taxing jurisdictions, and most importantly, I think will be a revitalization to the area that everyone's trying to get revitalized and has been working a long time. The town put zoning in place to encourage this type of development, and has actually now approved this project. As I say, it's within walking distance of the train station. We have the principals here. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to take them now. But our request is that we get a pilot agreement, a sales tax exemption, and a mortgage reporting tax exemption to make the project financially feasible.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just, one question. Dan, do you have all the approvals you need from the town?
I believe, yes. I mean, we don't have a building permit yet.
Other than the issue of the building,
all the discretionary approvals are done.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just for clarity, Mr. Deegan, good to see you. This is just north of the train station,
Yes.
at the corner of Grand and Smith. Am I right? I'm on the map, just to look.
Grand and Brooklyn.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where that is. It matters, but not. Either way, I I don't have a question about that. We'll figure that part out later on. Any other questions or comments from the board? Staff, recommendations, concurrence?
I think it's a little touring project.
Any other comment from the applicant? All good?
I think we're good.
Okay, so let's, I need to do an inducement resolution. So can I get a motion for the inducement resolution for 2150 Grand LLC at 2150 Grand Avenue, Baldwin, New York?
So move.
Great. Second?
I'll second.
Great. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? None? Any abstentions? None? Motion carries. And again, thank you. You're the owner, right, sir? Thank you for your investment in the town of Hempstead, County of Nassau, State of New York. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up is a consideration of a tenant consent for Valley Stream Green Acres CR Bricks, 2019 LLC DBA as Charlotte Roos.
We skipped one.
Shoot, I'm sorry. Consideration of a tenant consent for Green Acres Adjacent LLC, Modern Nails Bar and Lash, 750 Sunrise.
It is now Green Acres Bar and Lash.
Thank you.
There's a change.
So it's an alcohol and a lash place. Not that you would know personally, Fred.
I don't know.
Green Acres Nails Bar. It's a nails bar.
Oh,
Okay.
I was thinking about
I'm sorry, I sexed it up. Anyway, it's
Staff comment, please?
32 full-time employees, 7,757 square feet. So it's a meaningful project, and obviously we know what it's for. We commend it.
Excellent. Any comments from the board? May I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Great. Jerry, second?
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Motion carries. Now the consideration of a tenant consent for Valley Stream Green Acres CR Bricks, 2019 LLC, doing business as Charlotte Roos, Urban Planet or Urban Planet by Charlotte Roos.
So there are 20 to 22 employees, size is over 15,000 square feet. So it's again, a appreciably large proposal, and we commend it to the board.
Just a quick question for you and the staff. I've never seen one that says or. What's the or part? It's a fungible name, or what's the meaning of that? Just Urban Planet or Urban Planet by Charlotte Roos. Is it?
I think they're all under the same company as Charlotte Roos, but
Okay.
maybe they haven't decided which of those three
Entities.
entities will be the actual store.
And you're good with that, staff?
All of tenant consents are reviewed by the council, by the city body, so they review the leases and they're okay.
Excellent, thank you.
This is a part of the businesses that are coming in with the current construction work that they're doing, and so these are new arrivals, right? Okay.
Actually, this one is 3 acres adjacent, right? Although this one is 3 acres.
Yep.
Yeah, it's part of ongoing construction.
Right.
If anybody's not driven by there as of late, I was there last weekend with my wife, and it's a giant construction scene. It's going to be great for the county and for the town. Not that I'm biased towards this proposal, but just saying. Can I get a motion for the tenant consent for Valley Stream Green Acres CR Bricks?
I'll make a motion.
Great. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Jerry will take that one. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? No. Hearing none. Motion carries. Consideration of a tenant consent for Equity One Northeast, Regency Centers LP, The Galleria at Westbury, GSB Bagels, LLC, Pop-Up Bagels, 900 Old Country Road, Westbury.
We should have asked Dan about his expertise on bagels. He got away from us.
Yeah.
But this is our existing project, obviously, on Old Country Road, and it's a small addition, but 1,500 square feet and 7, 8 full-time equivalent employees.
Excellent. Any other any comments from the board? May I get a motion for the consideration of a tenant consent for Equity One Northeast Regency Centers?
I'll make a motion.
Jerry, a second?
I'll second.
Jill, thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. That's all of our new business, correct, team?
Yes,
Staff? Wonderful, thank you. New business other, the CEO report.
Yes, there are updates in the CEO report. The last page has what we've already discussed, 2150 Grand Avenue, which is an addition with the 58 units. Other than that, all is much the same.
Excellent. Compliance review for 2025?
So, we have 72 projects that we reviewed, and in my report, you'll see that, most projects have, applied, and that's how we gather all the information for our annual financial report. There are a few projects in bold that still owe us a few things. Letters regarding employment shortfalls, which we'll deal with at the April meeting. We do have 2 projects with late pilots, and then a couple with a few other things. But we did receive everything we needed to file this report in New York State. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Okay. Consideration and adoption of the 2025 annual financial report?
That is this lovely report here, which is created by our project management system, which was developed probably 10, 15 years ago by Edie Longo and the town of Hempstead IT department. And then all of the information on this goes into Paris, which is the Office of the State Controller office, and they review the information as well. It's all of the data on our 72 projects, and it's there for your approval.
So, it is hard to read, and that's no harm, no foul there, but, besides the board and you folks, has anybody else reviewed this, like our accountants or, auditors or anything?
Yes, during our, we have an audit phase right before this meeting, where she and a company, our auditors come in and they go through all of the data that I've collected and how it translated to getting input into this report and also into the state report for the OSC.
Okay. Any, concerns or questions from the board?
No findings, right?
No, it's all positive. She spends quite a long time, 2 days, would you say? In the audit.
Yeah, so no findings with the audit.
No negative
No,
findings.
no, no.
Only good findings.
Right.
I mean, there were a few typos, I fixed the typos, but
They found typos in this?
this doesn't have any typos.
So based upon comments from staff and review and approval by Sheen and Company, I'd like to make a motion for the consideration and adoption of the 2025 annual financial report. Can I get a motion? Great. A second?
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the 2025 audited financial statements.
These are the statements that are created by our auditor, Sheehan and Company, and they're regarding the IGA, the status of the IGA plan.
Okay?
You see them in your packet.
Yes, thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? So, hearing none, we'll make a motion for the consideration and adoption of the 2025 audited financial statements. Can I
So
get-
move.
Thank you, Reverend. Second?
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Appointment of the contracting officer, compliance officer.
We want to get a party approval to Arlen's submission of her name for this very important, seriously, position.
Arlen, thank you for stepping forward for that role. Okay, there's no motion required there. That's an appointment. There is? Okay, sorry. My apologies. Not to demean the position, Ms. Arlen. Appointment of the contracting officer, compliant officer. Can I get a motion? Great. Second?
Second.
Those, Guy, thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the mission statement, measurement report.
This was adopted by the governance committee at the last meeting.
Okay. Any comments from the board? Okay, can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the mission statement, measurement report?
So moved.
Great, a second? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the self-evaluation policy and procedures.
Also adopted that any changes by the governance committee cannot be made.
Great. Board comments? Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the self-evaluation policy and procedures? Jerry, thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Great. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. No abstentions. Motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the operations and accomplishments of 2025.
This is an update with respect to our accomplishments, but obviously in 2025. As you read it, you'll note that it reflects the need in the marketplace for tenancy for units, and which this board has adopted during 2025. Obviously, we're seeing that commitment continuing with the application made today. Any
Excellent.
questions?
None. Any comments from the board? All right, can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the operations and accomplishments for 2025?
I'll make a motion.
Great, thank you. A second? Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the procurement and purchasing guidelines.
No change.
No change? Board comment? Thank you. Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the procurement and purchasing guidelines?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I second? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstentions, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the property disposition policy.
This policy was also adopted by the governance committee, and there were no changes.
Just a point of reference, do we need that? We don't own any property. Do we need to have that in there, or is it a state requirement?
State requirement.
They require we do it.
Enough said.
We don't require or exclude.
Excellent. Can I get a, oh, sorry, board comment? Thank you.
Well, we do, on the record, we do have the power of foreclosure.
Are you making a suggestion there, Fred, or not?
Sorry?
You're making a suggestion? You want to foreclose
No,
on somebody?
For your edification.
Thank you. Can I get a consideration and adoption, a motion for the consideration and adoption of the property disposition policy? Great. A second, please?
A second.
Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstentions, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the Code of Ethics.
No change.
Excellent. Comments from the board? May I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the Code of Ethics?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstentions, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the investment policy and guidelines.
This policy was adopted by the finance and investment committee.
Excellent. Board comment? Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the investment policy and guidelines? Jerry, thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstentions, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the assessment of effectiveness of internal controls.
This policy was also adopted by the finance and investment committee.
Thank you. Board comment? Okay, can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the assessment of effectiveness of internal controls? Thank you. Jerry, a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Consideration of a sponsorship for the LIBDC 2026 Annual Conference.
So last year, we took a bronze. A few years, and we thought this year with the death of a former chairman of this entity that we do silver, and staff commends that to your attention.
we have dates for that yet? Of? Great, thank you. For purposes of the sponsorship, can I get a motion for the consideration of a silver sponsorship for the LIBDC 2026 Annual Conference?
I'll make a motion.
Jack, thank you. A second? Second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Summary of individual board member self-evaluation forms.
So this doesn't require a vote, it's just for your information. It's a summary based on the evaluation forms I received from board members.
Okay. Thank you. Late pilots?
So, once a pilot is, more than 2 months, sometimes pilots are late for a month or two because there are mix-ups with, which company is supposed to be paying the pilot, sometimes companies take over and whatnot. But when the pilots are more than 2 months late, I try to bring it to the board's attention, and so we have 2 late pilots here. We have CPK, which is in Village Hempstead. It's Dell Transportation. They have owed their Village of Hempstead second half 2025. It still remains unpaid. They were taken over by Hempstead Coach, and then they were taken over by a company called Beacon, I think, which is nationwide. And they've had some issues with payment. They sent it to the wrong address. They sent it to us, but it was being payable to us, not the village. So there's been a few things, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention, that non-payment of the pilot is a considered default under the agreements with IDA. And, that, just to let you know that I'm very on top of it and reaching out to these companies. The second company is Inwood, Property Development, and Dan Moultrie may be here today to talk about, he has a late general payment, and he's had some finance issues. Do you want to address it for him?
Mr. Moultrie, please approach. And before we, come up, please. What's the dollar amount for the CPK?
CPK originally owed the village $15,828.75. Now the penalties are $16,954.25.
And you feel confident of getting them on the phone and getting payment before the next meeting of the IDA board? No, I'm just, I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just thinking, if it was the wrong check, if it was the wrong address.
I also confident, but I have faith that they are working it out.
Faith is a really, really important thing. But 16,954.45 is more important than faith.
That's what I,
Thank you.
at the end of all this, the end result is, if the board wishes, then the agency can reach out and let them know that they will be on the April agenda for termination.
I usually follow up after all that's hard work.
Thank you. Are they physically located locally?
Hammer them down.
Or is it like a corporate office like in somewhere far away?
For CPK?
Yes.
I think it was like in Illinois or something.
So, well, maybe we want to convince them to just FedEx it to us, or if it was local, I would have said hand deliver it, so we don't have to pull this.
The owner is here in Hempstead.
The guy writing the check, or the gal.
He's not writing the check, but he's
Okay.
he's the one that signed all the agreements.
According to what Fred said, I strongly urge them to get that to us before the next meeting, otherwise challenges will be made. Thank you. Mr. Moultrie, I pronounced that right?
Yes, good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning, sir, how are you?
Hi. We will have ours paid in the next week or so. We are financed by Community Preservation Corporation of the State of New York. They're supposed to send the check directly out, and they haven't. I've just been paying it out of my own pocket, and it's because they're always late. My mom got ill, and she handles all the paperwork, so there was things, but I'll make sure it's taken care of and everything gets up to date.
You're a gentleman, and thanks for being here. What is the dollar amount?
I believe it's 11,000 and change.
11,381.25.
I would just say, best of health to your mom, and if you're paying it when somebody else is supposed to be paying it, my only advice to you, unofficially, is document, document, document.
Yes, sir.
No, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate that. Thank you. Staff comment? All good? All good. Excellent. Old business, seeing none. The reading and the approval of minutes of previous meetings. I need the consideration and adoption of the minutes from March 3rd, 2026.
Chairman, I move that we waive the reading of the previous minutes and adopt the minutes for March 3rd, 2026.
Excellent. Staff comment? You good with that?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the minutes?
That was the motion.
No, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Great. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, and no abstentions, motion carries. Report of the treasurer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say to the staff, job well done, as always, very meticulous, and all of the success projects, and all looks to be in good working order in favor. Looking forward to future projects.
Excellent. Any committee updates? We had the audit committee today, that's all good, right? We do not need, I believe we don't need executive session. Thank you. If hearing nothing else, can I make an motion for the adjournment of the March 24th, 2026 Town of Hempstead IDA Board meeting? Motion, please.
Make a motion.
Thank you. A second? Second. Those in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Can we jump right into the LDC? Okay, then. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Jumping. All right. A lot of considerations here. Roll call on attendance. We have a quorum. I'll call the meeting to order. I want to call the meeting to order of the March 24th, 2026 Town of Hempstead Local Development Corporation meeting. New business. Oh, public comment. There's nobody here, so we'll dispense with public comment. New business. Consideration and adoption of the 2025 LDC financial report.
This is similar to Arlen's spreadsheet that she hands you, that huge one that's hard to read, except it's much smaller.
It's in our file, right?
It's in your file. If you have any questions, let me know, and the auditors have reviewed it.
Excellent. Board comment? Can I get a motion?
So move.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstentions, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the 2025 LDC audited financial statements.
These are the statements that the auditor, Sheehan and Company, has provided to us after coming in and doing their audit. We're in good shape, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Board comment? Hearing none, can I get a motion? Thank you. A second? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstentions, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the LDC mission statement.
This is a yearly report that the state requires, that Mr. Parola slightly amended this year, but it's practically the same from last year.
Practically. Good enough for me. Board concerns? No comment? May I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the LDC mission statement? Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the LDC measurement report.
This is, also has minimal changes from Mr. Parola and is required by the state and was approved by the committee.
Thank you. Any board comment? May I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the LDC measurement report?
So move.
Thank you. A second? Second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the self-evaluation policy and procedures.
This has no changes. This was approved last month by the committee.
Thank you, sir. Board comment? Hearing none, can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the self-evaluation policy and procedures? Great. A second? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of investment policy and guidelines.
Same, there were no changes to this, and it was approved last month by the investment committee.
Thank you. Any comments? Great. Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the investment policy and guidelines?
So moved.
Thank you. A second? Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of that property disposition policy.
No change.
Thank you. Board comment? Hearing none, I make a motion, can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the property disposition policy? Great. A second?
A second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of operations and accomplishments of 2025.
This is a Mr. Parola creation, which highlights the reissuance of bonds from, I believe, Life's Work from last year, and we hope to close more this year.
Excellent. Any board comment? Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of property disposition policy? Oops, sorry. Apologies. One more time. Consideration and adoption of operations and accomplishments of 2025. Thank you. A second? Second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of assessment of effectiveness of internal controls.
No change.
Thank you. Board comment? May I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of effectiveness of internal controls? Great. A second?
A second.
Thank you. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, no abstention, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of purchasing guidelines.
No change, and this was approved by the committee as well.
Thank you, sir. Board comment? Hearing none, can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of purchasing guidelines? Great. Anybody opposition?
I'll
Hearing-
second.
Sorry, second?
Second.
Opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of the Code of Ethics.
No change.
Thank you. Board comment? Great. Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the Code of Ethics? Great. A second?
A second.
Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Consideration and adoption of contracting compliance officer.
I believe this is also Arlen again, and, yeah, no change from last year.
Great. Can I get a motion for the consideration and adoption of the contracting compliance officer? Great. Second? Second. Great. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Reading and approval of the minutes.
I think you skipped the summary.
There's a line through that, or am I?
Yeah, we're missing 3 now of the evaluations still. I've emailed them out a couple times. If you haven't gotten the LDC evaluations, if you could please get that back to me.
Thank you, Michael. Reading and approval of the minutes. Consideration and approval of the minutes of Jan 27th, 2026.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we waive the reading of the previous minutes and adopt the minutes of January 27, 2026.
I second.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Excellent. Motion carries. Report of the treasurer, the financial statements and expenditure list, Jan 21st, 2026 to March 17, 2026.
Again, I want to commend the staff for doing a great job. All looks. All T's across, I's are dotted. Great job.
Love it. Okay. No motion is required there, right? Any committee updates?
No, we had this morning, and I don't think we have any next month. I have to look. But
Okay. Any other business for the LDC staff and board?
we are, I'm sorry, Fred. We are getting close to hopefully closing a transaction with Adelphi currently.
That's the one that was on the docket last time?
Correct.
The $55 million?
Yes.
What's left to be done?
They just put out the POS today, hopefully by April-ish.
Excellent. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Michael. Any other business? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the March 24th, 2026 LDC board meeting.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Have a great month. We'll see you next time.
Great, great, great.
Thank you. Thank you. I was getting tongue-tied there for a minute. Holy cow.
Take it easy.